Well, hi, ask Dr. Lulu. I just got live on you guys. Been live for about 17 seconds already, 6 minutes already. So sorry about that, Dr. Lulu, but I missed you guys and I don't know what happened. But if you've I have a friend who has a child who's going to be a teenager or whatever, just tag them. If you have a friend who is a parent, tag them. If you're a parent, get your friends to come sit down and let's watch and let's get this party started. So we're going to talk about intentional parenting today. So I think the first thing I noticed when I was doing my research is that parenting is a relationship. And I didn't think about it until I saw it. I was like, yes, it is. And yeah, I know we assume that we know that, but I needed to hear that from someone else. It is actually a relationship. And what do you do with relationships? You have to work at them. So even if it's the one between you and your child, you have to work at them. Case in point, what if you went into a new job, you got a new job, you're the new employee at your job. What are you going to do? You're going to find out about everybody. You're going to try to know who they are, what they do, what makes them tick, what makes them not tick, what is it about them that keeps them going. You're going to ask yourself and them all these pertinent questions, right? Why are you doing that? You're trying to find out who these people are. So as parents, I know for me, I dropped the ball there because I didn't think, wait, maybe I know. It's kind of assumed. But do I really know what my children want? Am I really looking at my relationship with my children, at my parenting of my children as a relationship? Am I looking at it that way, as a relationship that has to have love? Takes a lot of love to be a parent. Give me a high five on that. A lot of thought to be a parent. A lot of intention to be a parent. A lot of action to be a parent, a lot of compassion, and compassion is defined as empathy minus the willing to help. But in this case, I'm going to say empathy and compassion are the same. Okay, for the all purpose of this talk, compassion means you feel someone else's pain and you know what they're going through, and of course you want to do something about it. Okay, a lot of empathy, a lot of kindness. You have to be kind as a parent. I think from the Nigerian concept anyway, parents are like almost slave drivers. Like, you have to be an ogre. You have to be mean to be a good parent. You have to be abusive and rain curses on your kids. And if you haven't done that, you're not a parent. You're not a parent yet. Okay, yeah. So growing up, I did experience that. That is true. But I told my brother to watch this because I don't think in my 50 years that I've known my brother, I don't think I've ever heard him raise his voice. Maybe he will raise it to be firm, but not yell and get all ogreish with his children. So I wanted him to watch this show today because I needed him to give us some pointers on how does he do it. And so over the last week, I called him to ask him, how does he do it? How does he pull off his parenting style that I feel is just so awesome? Part of it is, of course, he watched his own parents and learned from them. Part of my own parenting too is I watch my own parents and I learned from them. But also I think he is so good at his parenting. I actually envy him and I admire him and I want to be like him when I grow up, if there's such a thing. So I think, so in being a good parent, you need to have, who are those people that you admire their own parenting styles? You can ask them like I did with my brother, or you can just watch them from a distance and learn from them. Either way, parenting is not perfect. No one is perfect. No, there's no textbook out there on this is how to parent. None of that. So it's all a work in progress, isn't it? Right? Being a parent is a work in progress. So, but when you look at at parenting as a relationship, as opposed to you're up there, you're Goliath, and your little son is David, which, as you know how that ended up, right? But if you're not looking at parenting as I am the boss of you, and you must do as I say, and you must do as I do, then maybe you will see it as a relationship. And therefore, even though your child at the beginning is helpless, cannot sit, cannot roll over, whatever, they do end up growing up. They can walk, and then they can crawl, and then they can run, and then they run off to college, get married. But when I was preparing for this talk, I had to go into a quiet space. And I realized, indeed, parenting is a relationship. You have to work at it. It requires a lot of selflessness to be a good parent. You must be selfless. It's a lot of sacrifice, self-sacrifice. Yes, to some extent, maybe you don't want to necessarily put yourself behind to put your kids ahead, which I think is backwards. I think you should put yourself ahead. That is why something as simple as on the plane, they tell you before you put the mask on your child, what do? Put a mask on yourself first. So indeed, parenting is that way. You don't look at, oh, it's all about me, or my child is beneath me and they don't count, or their opinions don't count. Yes, they do. And so going back, way back, let's look at the fact that parenting is hard. And if you agree with me, please type the word hard. Oh, my mom is in the building. Very good. Parenting is very, very hard. Okay? Extremely difficult. If you agree with me, please give me a thumbs up. Parenting is painful. Very painful. When my sons are sick, as you know, you are sick when your child is sick. Case in point, my oldest son at Stanford, once upon a time, I woke up in the middle of the night. I had a bad dream that my son was trying to reach out across a big old moat to me, and he couldn't. And I woke up and I was crying. I was like, oh my God, I know there's something going on. It was like 2 a.m. in the morning. So I called my little man, and don't you know, at that moment, he was burning up in a fever. I felt my child. That is the power of being a parent. You know, that is the power of being a parent. So parenting is painful. You have those days when you don't even know what to do. You're like, oh my God, no matter what I do, I can't get it right. Or you feel that way. But believe me, it's worth it. So if you agree with me, also type in the word parenting is rewarding. Oh, Dorothy, thank you. Parenting is rewarding. Yes, so my brother, who is the model parent, and my mom are in the building. And my brother says bad parenting begins when, as a parent, you make your children actually fear you. And you know the funny thing? That is the Nigerian parent. That is the average Nigerian parent. Your kids are afraid of you. They're afraid to come out and say anything in front of you. I kind of sort of experienced that-ish. Not necessarily always from my parents, but I did from the rest of the village that it takes to raise a child. As you know, it takes a village. I talk about that all the time. But you're right, big bro. High five. But most of all, I feel like parenting is about memories. And if you agree with me, please give me a high five. No matter how hard it feels, no matter how hard it is right now, parenting is about memories. In the end, it's the memories that you make with your children. In the end, it's the memories that count. Those memories that you make with your kids. And when your kids grow up, those are the ones that they remember. So do you want your child to remember you as the parent that they were scared of all the time, the ogre in the building? Or do you want your child to remember you as a parent that was available, accessible, they could reach to you? What kind of parent do you want to be? So I dare to tell you that you want to be an intentional parent, which is why we're having this talk today. You want to be a present parent. You want to be an effective parent. So someone please type those words down for me. Intentional parent, an effective parent, and what's the other one? A present parent. Those 3 words, please. Somebody, anybody. Thank you. So parenting, most of all, is about memories. So when everyone that's watching me right now, when you look back in time into your childhood, I know we've already kind of touched on it, but do you remember the good ones or do you remember the not so good ones? Don't you remember the good memories? Are your parents in those memories? When you think back, do you remember those good times you had as a child? Are your parents in those memories? So a few of the memories my parents were not in, but most of them actually my parents were in. One memory that why I asked my mom to watch the, and I want you guys to know this, that every Sunday, if you've been watching me since June last year when I started doing this, every single Sunday, besides Ellis, my mother has been the one person who's always been watching. That is a powerful relationship. That is what a parent does. So what I was going to say about this is, and I'm going to get emotional, and those of you who know me know I'm a crybaby. My mother, she has not stopped parenting me. Does that make sense? So it's not when your kids have grown up, then, oh, all of a sudden, oh, they're grown. What's the word now? You never stop parenting them. My mother is always in the building, always in the house, whether when she was in Soweto, when she was in South Africa, in England, Dubai, wherever my mother is, Lesotho, I think is where she was, she's watching me. In the village in Nigeria, she's watching me. She's been that wind beneath my wings. So even as a grown-up, soon to be 50-year-old, my mother is still in the building in my life. Don't you want your kids to feel that way about you when they grow up? Isn't that what you want? And that's exactly what I'm saying. So you want to be that kind of parent who, when your kids look back, they'll say, yes, my mom came for my graduation from medical school. She never visited me in medical school. But let me tell you, that one act erased everything else. She was there for me when I needed her to be there. She was there for me for my graduation. When I walked down the proverbial graduation doctor aisle, my mother was there for me. My father has been there for me up and down, sideways and sideways. I can wake up at 2 o'clock and I call my dad, and my dad will pick up the phone. Well, that's because he's not asleep, which is a different topic. But that's the kind of parenting I'm talking about. Don't you want to be that kind of parent? I want to be like that when I grow up. Another thing is, my mother, when I had my kids, when I had my first son, she couldn't come because of drama with Nigerian visa. But when I had my second son, and ever since then, my mom has been there. My dad and my mom came for my graduation from the Air Force training ground. My parents came. I was 42 years old. My parents and my brother came. So I'm giving you an example. I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about which kind of parent do you want to be when you grow up? How do you want your kids to remember you? Those moments that counted, were you there for them? And that's the kind of parenting I want to be. I want you to be that intentional parent who says, you know what, this one counts. I'm going to be there. Maybe not all the time because you can't do everything, but the ones that matter the most, are you going to be there? Case in point, yesterday I had an appointment with my coach to do my vision board. My middleman, Chidi, he calls me on Saturdays. The older brother calls on Sundays. For those of you who don't know, they're both in college, so they call me. Chidi has Saturdays, Papa has Sundays. So Chidi called me at 4 o'clock sharp. My appointment with my coach was at 4 o'clock sharp. What do you think I did? I took my son's phone call, and I was in the presence with him. And I turned off everything else, and I was present at the moment when my son was calling and needing me. So what I'm saying is, as a good parent, you want to show up and show out. Have I been a perfect parent? Hell to the no. Am I the best parent? No. But am I trying to be more intentional? Absolutely, yes. My New Year resolution this year was to be more intentional in everything, and that includes parenting. So I want you watching me to make up your mind today to be that parent that when your child is like me, you will give ode to them because they were there for you when it mattered. The average Nigerian parent, I don't know about today because I haven't been in Nigeria in 25 years. I mean, I've visited, but I haven't lived there. What I remember is, if you're not mean, if you're not raining curses at your child, if you're not being the meanest parent in the building, you're not even parenting yet. And if you agree with me, give me a high five. Yes, I do get emotional a lot. When I talk about my children, or talk about my parents, or talk about my siblings, I get very emotional. And you know what? It's okay. It's okay. Sometimes, you know what kills us, parents, adults? You know what kills us sometimes? That need to be strong and show that Spartan girl and that diva and that, oh God, I got this together all the time. No, I don't got it together all the time. I cry for my kids. I cry at my kids. I cry with my kids. It's okay. They all turn out okay, thank God. So sometimes showing emotion works. A few weeks ago, a friend of mine called me at 4 o'clock in the morning because she found out that her son was being suicidal. She's a Black female. Her son was being suicidal. So she called me at 4 o'clock. You bet I took that call. So you know what happened? You know what I told her to do? I said, sweetheart, when you get off the phone with me, go into the room, your son's room, get on your knees And I said, take off your clothes. But I didn't mean it that way. I just meant in the Bible, they say they tore their clothes and they wore sackcloth. And I was trying to make a point that she should get on her knees and beg her son. He's the only child that she has. And he's suicidal. Not that it matters if you had 6 kids. I said, get on your knees and appeal to your child. Tell him you will not survive it if anything happens to him. Let him know that you love him to the point that he cannot hurt himself. It's not okay with you. Guess who is doing well today? Her and her son. I said, this is not time to be a strong Black female. This is time to be a present parent. Get on your knees. Beg your child. He's 15. Beg him to not kill himself. Because if he kills himself, guess who has no child? You. While you're trying to be strong, you be strong Black female with no child. And so I want us, anyone who's watching me, to know that it's okay to be vulnerable around your kids. Your kids have to learn that it's okay to be vulnerable around you. And if they don't see you being vulnerable, how are they going to know that it's okay to be vulnerable? You know? As long as it makes sense, honey, I'm going to be vulnerable. My brother said something. A good parent must learn to encourage children. You can't imagine the value kids attach to such encouragement. Absolutely. And you know, I was going to mention that later on, but thank you for bringing that up. So yes. So I want you guys, and I'm sorry, I get really emotional when I'm talking about my children. If you don't know yet, now you do. My mom says parenting is rewarding. Hope said, hi, Dr. Ume. Thank you for helping raise my 2 babies. Yes, Hope. And guess what? Our babies are doing so well. They are doing so well in college. Thank you, Hope. Hope was one of my very, very first patients when I was in Lancaster. Hope, I'm coming to Lancaster to do my program, so make sure you're there, okay? I'm bringing my Parenting Your Teen workshop to Lancaster, so make sure you're in the building, okay? Thank you, Hope. Bridget, also another patient's parent, is saying your words are powerful. Thank you, Bridget. Bridget says, even now raising 2 of my grandchildren, so I guess I'm trying to be there for them. Yes, being there for them. Thank you, Bridget. Being there for them when they need you the most. And you know what? You have to be there all the time because you don't know which one they're going to remember. I bet you my mother doesn't even remember that. One day when I was in Lancaster, South Carolina, I had a patient that I had done a circumcision on him. He was fine when he was in the office, and then he left the office okay, but by the time he got home, he had bled and bled and bled. And they had to call a code freaking blue on my baby that I did a circumcision on. I bet you my mother doesn't remember. She's the one that I called when I was flying to the hospital. I called my mother. She started praying. She soaked her rosary in water and was praying for her child. That baby did okay because my mother prayed for me. Let me tell you something. I bet you my mother doesn't remember. As a parent, you want to be that kind of parent that your child will remember the things that you did for them when they needed it the most. My mother prayed for me. I did not pray for myself. I prayed for the baby. She prayed for me. That is what a parent does for their child. A present parent. Sorry, I'm an ugly crier. What do you want from me? Huh? A present parent. My mother prayed for me and I prayed for the baby. The baby did okay. I bet you my mother doesn't even remember that. That's the kind of parenting I'm talking about. When you're talking about intentional parenting. Taking that needle and putting it on the record that you want to play. So anyway, all my makeup is messed up now. I hope you guys are happy. So what else? You know what? My grandmother has to make the cut. When I was a child, one of my bestest memories was traveling to the village. Not even necessarily getting to the village. It was about traveling to the village to see our grandparents, my grandmother specifically, on my dad's side, and on my mom's side too, but more so the one on my dad's side. I remember the smell of her nook, is what I'll call it, her little village hut. I remember the smell. Even to this day, you want your kids to remember your smell. Smell is one of those senses that lasts and lasts and lasts. You may not remember how it tasted, but you remember the smell. I remember the smell of my grandmother's nook. I remember just being around her. She smelled just different from anything I know. But I can still smell it. Do you guys understand what I'm talking about? I can still smell my grandmother. That's the kind of parent or grandparent you want to be, Miss Bridget Lyles. You want your grandbabies to smell you when they're 50, when you've died. My grandmother has been dead for a while, but I smell her. That is powerful. May her soul rest in peace. That's the kind of grandmother I want to be. I don't know about you guys. So parenting is so emotional for me. I know we're going to do part 2 and maybe even part 3 of this, because I haven't even touched the quarter of what I had to talk about, believe it or not. So let me see. Hope says, be there. God bless you. I will be, as long as God keeps me alive. Edith says, thank you for sharing that, because I know it works. Absolutely. My mom says, amen. I'll be there for my grandkids, maybe even great-grandkids. I don't know. I'm going to be Grandma Gigi. So, but what I'm trying to say is, being a present, if you're just joining me for the first time, you missed out on my tears, so that's good. But what we're talking about today is intentional parenting, being a present and effective parent, because all of them are not the same, but they're similar. They're all intentional. You say, okay, my son, my baby son, who's the only king in the house right now, plays basketball. That's his life. I may not always be there for his practice, but you know what his other mom does? She freaking gives me live shots and live streams his games. So even when I'm at work, I'm able to see my baby playing. Do you hear what I'm talking about? And when he scores a goal or a basket or whatever, I am able to share it with him live. Do you see what I'm talking about? Thank God for technology, but thank God for his stepmom, the other parent, the other member of the village that is taken to raise him. She makes it possible for me to watch his games because I'm at work and he's at play, but it matters to him that I'm there, and so she makes it happen. Do you understand? Do you hear? I'm about to preach today. You want to be that kind of parent who is there when it counts. Okay, so enough of the cries, right? Talking about the smells, I talking about my grandmother's smell and all that. But what I said about that journey to the village, I meant it. It wasn't even about arriving at the village. It was about the journey. I remember the trips, just the road trips. And life is like that. It's about the journey. Parenting is like that. It's about the journey. So it's about that road to parenting. You never get there because I'm 50, but my mom still parents me. My dad still parents me. You should see or hear or read the joy in their voices when I tell them all of my little wins. My dad is so excited. My mom is so excited. Each time they celebrate each win for each kid. It's not just me. I'm just saying that even in our adulthood, our parents are still celebrating us. Wouldn't you want to be that kind of parent? The parent that is showing up and showing out, and your kids are knowing that, yes, no matter what happens, I've made my mistakes, but my mom is there. When I had my second son, oh my God, Miss Edith, I hope you're still watching. Your cousin, he was not a good husband to me with my second son. My mom would testify. He put me through hell to the point that he was wondering if that is his son, because he was dark-skinned, or he is my own dark chocolate brother, my son. He was wondering if that is his son. That's the kind of man I was married to. And my mom was like, you know what? Don't even sweat it. I'm here. My mom came and she was with me through that journey when he did not want us to baptize the boy in the Catholic Church because, oh my God, don't let me even start talking. But the point I'm trying to make is, when I was at that hard place, difficult place, my mom was my rock. So I want you guys to understand that you want to be that kind of parent to your child. Yes, you let them grow their wings and they're going to fly. But even the mother eagle knows where her baby eagle is. So help me God. And that's what happened with my mother. You want to be like that. I want to be like that. Okay, so that's just little examples of how you want to be that present parent when it counts. She may not be here all the time, but when I need her, you can bet your bottom dollar she's here on the phone, on social media, whatever, you know. And then, let me see. Yeah, I talked about the patient who was bleeding. And so what does it mean to be an intentional parent? I think that's, we already kind of talked about that, but the definition of parent might be different for different people. It's father or mother, true. Father or mother. But I wanted to throw in real quick, as a member of the village, in a child's life, you are also their parent. So another definition of parent is the act of being a parent to a child. Doesn't mean you have to be mother or father is what I'm trying to say about that one, okay? So remember that you don't have to necessarily be the one that gave birth to the child. You can also be a parent, an extended parent, right? Yeah, so remember the teachers, the counselors, the grandparents, your friends' parents, your neighbors, all of those people who, those little pieces of the puzzle that it takes to raise your child, those are all part of the parent. So I wrote here that it's never about being perfect. It's always about just the journey. And I thought that was important. It's already 30 minutes. I didn't want to go past 30 minutes. I'm going to have to stop here. Listen, we're going to go on next week because this is such an important topic. It is so important. You know why I'm talking about it though? I'm talking about it because I believe in my heart that if my son is going through something somewhere and he knows his mother has an open door, he knows his mother has the path he can come through to reach to me, he will not hurt himself. Brings it back to the teen depression and teen suicide. You get it? Yes. I'm not saying that life doesn't happen to your kids. Life will happen. But if your child knows that my parent is always going to be there, maybe, just maybe, they would think twice before they hurt themselves. And so this is the point I was trying to make about this whole intentional parenting thing. So we're going to continue with part 2 next week. But wait, I need to say hello to everyone who was in the building. So give me a second, okay? You guys have been awesome, awesome, awesome. So let me start by Linda Shropshire. Hi, sweetie. That's another patient's parent from my practice. Kalista Ozibo. Hey, my cousin. Hey, girl. Isa Eyes Be Bright. Hello. Suze V. Roman. Hello. Adeze Abonta. Hi. Yonta Tinsley. Hey girl, how is our son doing? Tiffany Kane. How is our son doing? Mata John, another patient's parent. How are the kids doing? Bridget Lyles, of course. Beloved Bridget. How are you? My cousin Valentine, always in the building. Such a support, such a good kid. Carter Pham is also watching. And they wrote hard for me. Thank you. My mom, of course, in the building. Sade Smith never misses any of my events. Thank you so much. Sade, I have an event coming up in England. I'm bringing it to the UK. My Parenting Your Teen workshop is coming to the UK. So stand by, okay? Because I need you in the building. Stella Olowodu, of course, my high five road dog, my girl. Alexander Hope, yes. Justin, my cousin. Sapoma Safa Boyke, I know I killed your name, but forgive me. I know it's Ghanaian. I know that much. Hi, Nenengweke in the house. Dorothy, of course. Thank you so much for joining. And I'm not able to get it to go up anymore. So if you're watching me on my regular page, I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on. I can't get it to go up anymore, to scroll up anymore. So I have Tessimia, my cousin's wife. Hi, sweetie. Francesca, yes. Frederica Hyman. Hi, girl. She used to be my nurse when I was in Lancaster. Lots of people in the house. Dee Bailey, my home girl. How are you? That's my shout out. Lauren Brown just joined. Hello, hello. She's saying hello because she does not want to be left out, does she? And then let me go to my phone here. I have Francis Mutua is watching. I have Abby Adebayo is watching. Francesca in 2 places. Okay, Stella Olowodu. Neka, hi, sweetie. Me, Ling Sulong, my brother, and then Elise. Thank you all so much. Yeah, it's Valentine week, so I'm wearing my Valentine colors today. Thank you so much for watching me. But before I let you all go, just a couple of things I wanted to mention. And we'll finish up. We have time. As long as God gives us life, we're all going to be here next Sunday. We'll talk some more. But just real quick before I forget, tomorrow, Monday, if you can go online, I'll be live on the radio with Sita and Friends. It's WWBC 1510. I'll be live at 1 p.m. Eastern. So that's 12 noon Central for me. So just mark your clocks and just know. And then and it's also 99.9 FM or 94.7 FM or 100.7 FM. So please note that. If you have not bought my book yet, y'all, let me tell you, do not Don't even come to my party next Sunday if you've not bought my book yet, okay? It's called How to Raise Well-Rounded Children, or AKA How Not to Raise Bad Kids. I'm gonna be putting a link for you all to buy it in the comment section. Y'all need to be buying my book, okay? Kenyatta called, well, hey girl, Tonya Touch. Girl, you're just joining us now? We're almost finished. But go get my book, Tonya. Also, they just released today, Dr. Me First. If you go, for those of you who listen to podcasts, type in Dr. Me First podcast. I am one of the guests this week. So please tune in, listen to your girl, holla, listen to me, okay? I will put the links to my books in all 3 places. And if you've not joined my Teen Alive Facebook group yet, even if you're not a parent of a teenager, do help me and join Teen Alive. It's my Facebook group. No, I've not been as active as I wanted to be, but I will be. But y'all, please join. You'll get an invitation from me today if you haven't joined yet. And then please just say yes, and I'll accept you, okay? We have a lot of conversations in there that are deep, solid conversations. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much for being here today. I will see you all next Sunday at 2 p.m. for Ask Dr. Lulu. And if you haven't bought my book yet, go buy it. It's on Kindle, and there's a link on my website to purchase. On that note, I'll see you all later. God bless you. Bye. Hey, Kenyatta. Bye, y'all. Bye. Let me turn off the phone first, and then this one, and then this one. It's the